Let our powers combine.
Let our powers combine.
Experience of Joe Flacco. Father of Shedeur Sanders. Legs of Tyler Huntley. Hands of draft capital of Kenny Pickett. And grittiness of Dylan Gabriel. And money of Deshaun Watson. By your powers combined, I form Captain Brown. Captain Brown, he's our hero. Gonna take the Browns' wins back to 0. You guys remember Captain Planet? Anyway, thanks for the idea, Liam, and allowing me to make it better. The Cleveland Browns have signed a sixth quarterback to their roster. Why? Who the fuck needs 6 quarterbacks besides maybe a casting agent for a football-themed gangbang video, which Deshaun Watson would not be legally allowed to attend, by the way? You know the old NFL saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks competing for a job, you don't have a quarterback. Well, what about 6? What about 6 is a question I never thought I'd have to answer. Also, I gotta respect the Colts for trying to just flat out tell us they have no quarterbacks after they listed Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson on their depth chart. Shane Steichen, who's your starting QB? Yeah, whoever, I guess. The Colts might not have a quarterback. The Jets really don't know what they have in Justin Fields. The Rams are dealing with Matthew Stafford and a back injury, and yet the Browns feel like the team with no plan at QB.
1, 2, 3 QBs.
And I find the Browns quarterback situation very fascinating for all of the wrong reasons. How's the depth chart gonna shake out behind Joe Flacco? Well, that got a bit more compelling this week. 6 QBs on roster if you count Deshaun Watson, and I don't, so 5 for the Browns. But I'll tell you why Watson is actually pretty important this year. Why did the Browns bring in Tyler Huntley? What do I make of Shedeur Sanders landing at 4 on the depth chart? And how will this quarterback battle shake out? I'm going to do my best to answer all of that today here on That's Good Sports. Don't forget to subscribe here. Thank you to the couple hundred of you who subscribed yesterday. We're still not on track to get to 775,000 subs by the time the season starts, but that's my goal. And like most of my goals, I plan on falling short. So help me out.
The power is yours.
Today's episode is sponsored by GoodChop/YouTube and my code That'sGood50 to get $50 off your first Good Chop box with my link below. What's Good Chop? It's a box of high quality American meat and seafood that you can customize and have delivered right to your door. And now they've got cookies. Look, there's a lot of meat. It's a lot of meat. I took Good Chop with me up to the mountains, and this time I actually remembered to record myself. Back in June, I did the same thing, but I forgot to record when I was grilling up my favorite meat. They're thick, cut ribeyes. Ooh. This time I brought up some ground beef, and I know ground beef is not sexy, but I packed it as I had some extras in the freezer, which was perfect for some high-altitude burritos with green chili. You can also get New York strips, porterhouses, cowboy steaks, and tomahawk steaks. Great for all of your summer grilling needs. Good Chop sources its meat and seafood from American farms and fisheries, and by ordering Good Chop with my code That'sGood50, you're supporting local farms and fisheries. We love having Good Chop chicken or ground beef in the freezer at any given time. If you want to save $50, go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code That'sGood50, or just click the link below to get $50 off plus free shipping on your first box. They even got crab legs. How come nobody ever wants crab arms? Like all of you, when I saw that Adam Schefter had tweeted that the Browns signed quarterback Tyler Huntley, I laughed. I laughed audibly on the toilet where I read all of my tweets. Having 6 QBs on your depth chart, even in training camp /preseason, feels like only something the Browns could accomplish. In a situation like that, nobody's getting enough reps. Having 4 total quarterbacks is kind of the max an NFL team can do, right? Keeping 3 active quarterbacks on the 53-man roster is the limit, and more than half the teams in the league only keep 2 active quarterbacks. So 2 to 3 on the active roster, which leaves you with 1 practice squad guy. Deshaun Watson is on IR, so again, he doesn't count. Even at 5 quarterbacks, the Browns have 1 too many, which is why bringing in Tyler Huntley was a bit of a head-scratcher. Now, don't get me wrong, I like me some Snoop Huntley. He's defeated the Broncos, a forgotten, atrocious game from 2022 where the Ravens bested my horses 10-9 and Huntley completed 84% of his passes for a painfully efficient 187 yards and a pick. He's started a handful of games as a backup every year for the last 4 years. He's a solid bench warmer on any roster, just not one that has 4 other active quarterbacks already. Jesus Christ, Cleveland. The Browns apparently signed Huntley because they needed someone to throw footballs at practice because Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel are all currently banged up. Bravo, guys. This is quite literally both a desperation and precautionary signing. A nicer way to say that is a necessity signing. Cleveland's first game is Thursday in the preseason, and the only quarterback you really don't want on the field is Joe Flacco. And he's the only motherfucker that's fully healthy. And yes, he's old enough to fuck your mother, and it wouldn't be weird. The Browns are already extremely injured at the QB position, despite not even having played in a single preseason game. It's possible that they simply forgot to put the special red jersey on them, and then Myles Garrett's been teeing off on them for 2.5 hours every day.
Hell yeah, boy!
As it stands right now, Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are currently dealing with hamstring injuries, with Pickett's appearing to be more significant.
I'm trying to get back out there, as fast as possible. I've never had, a soft tissue injury like this, so really a first-time experience in my career. I felt like I came in great shape, was hitting numbers speed-wise that I've never hit before, so it's frustrating that it happened.
While Shedeur Sanders is working through arm soreness. And of course, Deshaun Watson is on the PUP list for an Achilles injury that no one is brave enough to treat him for. How am I supposed to recover if nobody will touch me? That's your problem, Deshaun. That's your problem. Now, this might go down as one of the weirdest, most eclectic quarterback depth charts of all time. Joe Flacco, 40-year-old Joe Flacco, is in line to start for the Browns. And behind him, there's a bizarre logjam of Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett plus the 2 mid-round rookies they drafted in Gabriel and Sanders. And then Huntley enters the fold. And technically, this quarterback room does feature 2 guys who played in and won a Super Bowl plus a Pro Bowler in Huntley. On paper, this is a good thing. But in practice, this is probably the weakest collection of quarterbacks the NFL currently has to offer outside of maybe Indy or the Jets. It's hard to say the best quarterback isn't Joe Flacco, and that Joe Flacco is one entering his 18th season in professional football, 13 years removed from the season where he caught fire and led the Ravens to victory over the 49ers in Super Bowl 47. As fun as Joe's run was back in 2023 with Cleveland, he didn't play better last season with the Colts. Mostly the same. For some reason, though, the Browns media is the only group of journalists covering the NFL that decided they were going to keep stats on the quarterbacks in training camp. So I might as well bring them up, despite believing that they have no bearing on anything whatsoever. Through August 3rd, Joe Flacco is 54 of 92 passing with 3 TDs and no picks. Shedeur Sanders, 6 TDs, no picks. Dylan Gabriel is the only one with multiple picks at 2, and Kenny Pickett has 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. God, I feel stupid even saying that shit. Once again, it does not matter. It does not matter, and I must reiterate that it's practice, where everyone's trying things they probably wouldn't try in a game. Like I'm sure Caleb Williams was trying to not hit that throwing net, right? As for Tyler Huntley, he was indeed a Pro Bowler in 2022 after almost every other quarterback in the AFC declined an invitation. That year, filling in for Lamar Jackson, Huntley won 2 of his 4 starts with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. People complain about Trevor Siemian making the Pro Bowl in 2016, but at least Siemian Toast Crunch was 8-6 with 18 touchdowns and 10 picks. That's what a real Pro Bowler looks like. I will give Huntley credit for playing decent football in his lone playoff start against the Bengals in 2023 because he might have actually won that game if not for getting stripped of the ball on the 1-inch line before Sam Old Mother Hubbard took it 98 yards for a game-winning touchdown. Joe Flacco put up near identical stats the last 2 seasons. The Colts didn't bring him back, and the only reason the Browns signed him is because they wanted someone who knew the offense that wasn't Jameis Winston.
My gosh, like, this is really an NFL film moment.
There's a very weird optimism with Joe Flacco starting the season for the Browns, but he wouldn't win the starting job for the majority of the other NFL teams out there. What's even more puzzling is how the Browns appeared to desire giving Kenny Pickett the opportunities over Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. This is a very rare scenario where a team who doesn't have a franchise QB drafted 2 quarterbacks and then battles them to see which one might deserve the chance to battle their current second-string quarterback. The more I talk about the situation, the dumber it fucking sounds, doesn't it? Shedeur Sanders was officially listed as 4th on the depth chart, but I've been told he's always first in the building because he drives to work faster than anyone else. Boom, roasted. Shedeur might very well be the most intriguing 4th-string quarterback the NFL has ever seen, and the people out there watching Browns training camp are reporting that he's getting the fewest reps and the least amount of time with the first stringers, despite possibly throwing better than Gabriel and Pickett when he gets his opportunities. I think Shedeur's been listed at 4 on the depth chart to test his resolve and to show that he has to earn his spot. I think since getting those speeding tickets, Shedeur's been saying the right things.
You know, I'm more mature and not making those same mistakes I made, you know, in college or whatever I did. So, you know, I treat everybody with respect and with care, and whenever everybody gets over, you know, their own hate towards me for their own weird reason, then, you know, everything will be back good. So that's it. That's where I grew the most, is I'll say mentally.
Shedeur is the most interesting quarterback on the Browns roster, and they're burying the lead. Their quarterback room is so fucking boring right now, not even Pablo Torre wants to find out, okay? The part that might get very dumb is if Tyler Huntley starts getting more reps with the first team in preparation for the Browns preseason game. Shedeur sat out of practice on Sunday with arm soreness. He was back throwing on Monday, and the Browns still signed Tyler Huntley. I think Huntley is mostly an emergency plan if both Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are too injured to play by Thursday. That leaves you with Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders getting all of the reps. And if Shedeur Sanders gets to play more because Gabriel and Pickett are hurt, that's his opportunity to shine. That's actually a good thing. Huntley is there, though, in case Shedeur Sanders gets hurt while playing in that game. I think that's all that really boils down to, because you want Sanders taking as many reps as he can out there if Gabriel and Pickett are no-goes. Which appears to be the case, because now Shedeur Sanders, after being listed last on the depth chart, has been named the starter for Friday night's preseason game against the Panthers. Which is what you want if you're a Browns fan. You want to watch Shedeur play. You want him to get reps with the ones, which he will this week leading up to the game. So hopefully, maybe this works out for you, Cleveland. That magical year in 2023 when Flacco led Cleveland to the playoffs, they started 5 quarterbacks through the course of that season. So maybe the Browns are just trying to run it back with the only formula that's worked for them outside of, you know, drafting Baker Mayfield. And God bless the guy who adds the Browns' starting quarterback names to his long-ass jersey. He is single-handedly keeping the embroidery business in Cleveland alive. We noted earlier this offseason that we were about to see the 40th starting quarterback in Browns history since their return in 1999, and by this rate, they might actually surpass U.S. presidents since George Washington by the end of 2025.
I did not actually hear George Washington say that.
By the way, the sitting U.S. president when Joe Flacco was born was Ronald Reagan, who passed away over 20 years ago.
They were talking sports.
What I want to see happen is the Browns sign a 7th quarterback. You know who's available? Carson Wentz still needs a job. Imagine rolling into week 1 with 3 quarterbacks on your roster who have Super Bowl rings. Flacco, Pickett, and Wentz. Unstoppable, the Holy Trinity. The one thing nobody's really talking about outside of Mike Florio is what happens if Deshaun Watson gets cleared to play. If he gets cleared to play and wants to be on the 53-man roster, the Browns kind of have to do it. If they release him because they disagree with him about his readiness to play, that fucks them royally for all of 2026, as his cap hit would be $131 million. Watson already has the projected biggest cap hit in 2026 at $80 million. Then you've got Mahomes at 78, which you already know is going to get reworked. Lamar Jackson at 74, which this week we learned might get reworked as the Ravens are discussing an extension with him. And then Dak at 74 million. So 131 is insane. If you're a Browns fan, you want this guy to be evaluating Deshaun Watson.
Can you recommend a doctor who will? Yes.
Hi, everybody!
The only thing you want is for Watson to spend the season on the PUP list. If he gets cleared medically and wants to be on the active roster, the Browns will remain in hell. If he is healthy, you need him to take one for the team and willingly stay on the PUP list and pretend to still be injured. Which, if you need a guy to lie right to your face, Deshaun Watson's your man. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Make sure you subscribe here. All the preseason starts this week, so it'll be kind of fun to talk about some real football. I've missed you, football.